After 13 years of American troops in Afghanistan, the U.S. combat mission there is now over. President Obama released a statement yesterday saying, thanks to the extraordinary sacrifices of men and women in uniform, the longest war in American history is coming to a responsible conclusion. The president also acknowledged, though, that Afghanistan remains a dangerous place, and more than 10,000 U.S. personnel will remain there, mostly in advisory and training roles. Joining me now is a lawmaker who's been to Afghanistan several times. Congressman Lynch had long supported keeping U.S. troops in that country, but in recent months he's been pushing hard for a faster withdrawal. Congressman Lynch, welcome back to Greater Boston.
Thank you. Good to be with you, Adam.
Why was it important that we leave Afghanistan now, as opposed to a year down the road or 2 years down the road?
Well, I think we've invested enough time, money, training. We've trained something like 768,000 Afghans. If you include the police and Border Patrol, we've spent about $21 billion. We've followed a timeline. We've reached the end of that timeline, and I think it's time to go.
Looking back on this, say a decade from now or 2 decades from now, what will we say we achieved in Afghanistan?
Ironically, it's something that no one's paying attention to, and that is in order to train these police and Border Patrol and Army, we've necessarily had to operate a mini GI Bill in Afghanistan, and it involves teaching people how to read and write. And I think in 20 years, that'll be the biggest difference that the United States has made in Afghanistan. Is we have doubled the literacy rate in Afghanistan among men and women as a tool to train these people to defend themselves militarily and through police force.
Do you think that'll be a lasting gain?
I think so. Because we teach them to about a 4th grade level, elementary school, and already we've seen those parents, institutionally, we've seen them teach others, and now, of course, they want to go to the 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade. So that we've planted seeds there. I think that in 20 years we'll see those results.
Let's turn to domestic politics for a bit. As you know, Jonathan Gruber was in front of Congress earlier this month taking a grilling for comments he made about how the passage of the Affordable Care Act was contingent on, as he put it, the stupidity of the American people. You gave him a pretty good grilling yourself and focused on the impact that the Affordable Care Act is having on employers. Let's take a look at what you had to say.
If we're bidding on a construction project and you have 49 employees and I have 150, my bid includes $13 an hour for health care. Your bid is zero.
Did Jonathan Gruber tell you how that problem you were talking about could be fixed to your satisfaction?
No, he said he's not familiar with collective bargaining. But I think that they didn't really think this through. There's another part of the Affordable Care Act that comes in the year 2018, and that's called the Cadillac tax. So all of these companies, union and non-union, that have been providing expensive health care to their employees, they'll be taxed with a 40% tax for doing that.
And you say that people are now downsizing, right, to avoid paying that tax?
Right, they are. They're trying to get below the 50 employees, and they're also refusing to sign collective bargaining agreements, or in the non-union setting, they're just taking away the health benefits that they once granted. So we as a country have gone from a system where we used to reward employers who gave enhanced health benefits to a point now under the Affordable Care Act where we punish them if they give employees enhanced health care. So it's going to be a very difficult transition.
So now that the GOP controls both the Senate and the House, there is a lot of talk among conservatives about repealing the Affordable Care Act. You didn't vote for it in the first place. Would you ever consider backing repeal?
I would support fixing it. There are some definite things that we can do to make this work, and it's not working as well as it should, not nearly as well as it should, and it's going to get worse. So I think there are some definite things that we can do to improve it, to make sure that we're fostering medical research, that we're paying doctors fair salaries and things like that, and that we have, I'm worried today, not only don't you have the ability to have your old plan or the ability to see your own doctor, I'm worried because of the pressure now on Medicaid and those cuts that are coming, I'm going to start losing hospitals. And so I'm worried as this thing folds out that it might be the gift that keeps on giving to these Republicans who want repeal. I would much rather see us take a harder look at what needs to be fixed within this system.
So let me ask you, with the Democrats controlling the presidency for now and Republicans controlling Congress, is that a realistic hope that these things will be fixed?
I have my doubts. I think the Republicans just came off of a huge win in this last midterm election. They now have the largest margin of victory in the House. They've got 247 members, Republican members. We have 188. They haven't had a margin like that since Herbert Hoover was president. They've captured the Senate, and a lot of that was anger against the Affordable Care Act. So I think that they're going to try to, milk that for what it's worth, and that means you can't. If they cooperate with the president, it actually is a negative for them in their districts. So it really creates some logistical problems for us.
All right. Well, on that less than optimistic note, Congressman Steve Lynch, thank you as always for being here. Wish I had another half hour to talk with you. Come back, okay?
Thank you, Adam.